What's up, good people? It's your boy Munkuikizi, aka the Copper Khan. Just wanted to do this video later on after I'm done talking and saying my piece. I attached a clip of Tariq Nasheed's last broadcast on Tariq Radio. So fair use if I need to say that. But anyway, want to talk about the ancestors and my experience thus far, and how I get to experience these ascended people. First of all, I want to say that speaking to ancestors, hearing from ancestors is not an evil thing. That's something that's been lied about. Even the people that lied to us, they do it with their own ancestors. But so when you hear from your ancestors, they can come in many forms. They can come, well, I'll say this, the two main forms that I have experienced my ancestors is them as a god, which a god is somebody, can be somebody, or is not limited to somebody who has ascended into godhood. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a Maleki that's like this great big Maleki or anything. Maleki means angel. Just getting phone calls. But a god, you could become a god. You're not just, I don't believe gods are just born and then you're just a god. When we're here on this life and this playing field, you have to sacrifice and dedicate yourself to the spirit, and then they you go in a council and they have they have talks about you, and you get elevated into godhood. That's the way I see it in a short explanation. But I've seen my ancestors as gods, the ones who have become gods. They've come to me, spoken to me, and I know they guide me and they use me. I've also seen my ancestors, or heard from my ancestors who were recent ancestors, who are not yet gods, but are in the spirit, And the way that I honor them is not just by doing what I'm supposed to do in my life, because in order for me to know what I'm supposed to be doing in my life, I have to be open to hearing from them. And if I'm not hearing from them, then I'm lost. So two of the ways that I hear from the ancestors, the way that I honor them and invite communion with them, is through libation, and also through smoking my cigars. And this is something that wasn't really taught to me. This is something that I just started doing. I started feeling in my spirit. So like if I'm smoking a cigar, I'll be out on the patio chilling, smoking a cigar, usually at night. I'll have like this feeling of letting it burn when it gets to a certain point in my cigar, and I don't know, if any of you know what that means or have that experience, feel free to holler at your boy. But yeah, I have that experience, and so I leave my cigar out, and I'll let it burn. And the way that I do libations, I do water libations. I'll go out and I'll pour some water, but mainly it has to do with, like, for me personally, wine and not necessarily like liquor, but whiskey or bourbon or something like that, and that way I make sure that they are, I'm taking a shot with them, or I'm sipping on something with them, especially with my father or my grandfathers, or whoever else in my family lineage like to sip on that whiskey. These are ancient practices that highly melanated people have done throughout history. We invented that practice, you know? So those are two ways that I honor my ancestors, you know, besides the prayer and all that stuff. And I don't mean like sacrificing chickens and nothing like that. When I say all that stuff, I just mean like prayer and making sure that my ears are tuned in, you know? I'm sitting here going the wrong way, talking to y'all. But yeah, so now to the next part. Hearing from them and honoring them in what they guide and lead you to do. So once you honor them, you know, you start getting insight, and this insight will feel like, you know, like convictions or something that you feel like you're led to do or feel that you're supposed to do. And when you act on those feelings, and you don't act out of like fear and emotion and things like that, that's when you'll start to feel and see that the paths are clearing out for you. So for instance, I was recently, you know, I was holding off on accepting this job offer from Coca-Cola. You know, Coca-Cola approached me, and you know, and I had an interview. The interview went great and everything, but something was telling me like, no, there's something better for you. So I'm like, okay, you know, I kept with that conviction, because in my life I've learned that whenever I feel that, you know, that gut feeling that they say, oftentimes that is the great spirit, you know, waka, or he'll send your ancestors to kind of mentor you and pull you along. And it's up to you to listen. So I've been trained to listen and understand when I'm feeling that, to spend time with that feeling and meditate on that. So I did that. You know, I emailed them back and told them, hey, I have another opportunity, possibly somewhere else. Give me a couple more days to mold this offer up, and I'll let you guys know. So, you know, the manager let me do that, and a couple of days later, I got a better offer from a different company, you know, and I got the hours that I wanted, got the pay that I want, got everything. And that's just a little example recently that I just wanted to share, as when you listen to those feelings, and when you're not acting out of fear, you know, and you're not just going for the first good thing that comes to you, and you trust those feelings, then it pays off. So without further ado, this is the clip from Tariq Nasheed, a good brother who I watch all his stuff. He loves his people, and he speaks truth to power, as he would say. So here it is. Thanks for listening.
To that. How many of y'all have kids? All my family in the room. Now, y'all have kids, and I have kids, and we're about to have a new baby. We're about to have a new baby in a couple of months. But all my family who have kids, I want y'all to understand, when y'all have kids, and I know you've seen this. Some of your babies in certain parts of your house, sometimes your babies will be in a room somewhere by themselves talking to somebody. And it's not just them imagining something. Your babies are in a room somewhere interacting with somebody. Have y'all seen that with your children? I'm pretty sure I've seen that with my children. Sometimes you will see your children sitting up interacting with somebody, and you like, what the hell is this baby over here doing? And they're having a conversation. They're having baby talk. You can see them laughing and giggling. They're interacting with somebody. Babies do that all the time, and it's not just their imagination. I remember one of my sons at my old house, there was something about the kitchen. In the kitchen area, we would put him in the high chair, and he'd be sitting in there eating, and he would look over in a corner, And every time we put him there, he'd be laughing and interacting with someone. He would gaga and go. He'd start laughing and playing with somebody like somebody was there. And it would only happen in this one part of the house. It was always this one part of the house, and it wasn't his damn imagination, because he was like a few months old. Who the fuck what is he imagining? He hasn't experienced anything to imagine, like a make-believe person or something. He was interacting with somebody. And your children, if you look at them, they probably do it too. You see them interacting with some imaginary person that you think is imaginary, but there is something there. Because those babies are connected to the spirit realm. That's very real. Y'all remember I showed a video about a year or so ago of a child, of a toddler, of a baby at a cemetery. And this baby started interacting with somebody. I'm going to show y'all let me find the clip. Hold on. Let me find the clip. There's this baby. They went to visit somebody at a cemetery, somebody's tombstone, and the baby started to interact with somebody and gave somebody a kiss. I want y'all to see this for those who don't remember. Hold on one second. Let me play this. Hold on. 1 second. If y'all remember this, hold on. Hold on. Come on.
Where you waiting for that? Bye. Bye. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that right there was heavy to me. Yeah, that was heavy right there. That was heavy. That baby right there was interacting with somebody. Yeah, that was heavy. That gave me chills when I saw that. This baby wasn't imagining anything. When she leaned over and gave somebody a kiss. Yeah, that was the ancestors talking to that baby. And let me tell you something. The ancestors are energy too, and we have to honor our ancestors because they need our energy too. I want y'all to understand this. I'm getting a little metaphysical here, but our ancestors, they need us to acknowledge them. They're out here in the spirit realm. They want us to give honor and praise to them. They want us to acknowledge them. This is why the concept of pouring libations, feeding the ancestors, it's very important that we honor them. They're out there. They want us to correspond with them. Yeah, that was a heavy video, man. That little girl up here giving somebody a damn kiss. That wasn't that child's imagination. I'm telling you, these babies are very clicked in with the spirit realm, man. They're very clicked in with that. And we have to honor our ancestors, man. And when we honor them, man, they bring blessings to us. They bring good tidings to us. Look, when I was doing the Hidden Colors film, I was getting so much information just out the blue because I chose to honor those ancestors, and so much information was coming to me. Those ancestors were feeding me information left and right. Information was coming left and right. And the energy of the ancestors made that thing a success. The energy made that a success because we honored the people who put in work. This is why we've been on this thing where we've been honoring our foundational Black American ancestors. See, for a long time, we've skipped over our FBA ancestors because we've given a lot of props to the African side of the family, which is okay. But we cannot neglect our foundational Black American family. We start giving them praises and props, the energy will change because that energy will get riled back up. That will give them the spiritual strength to come and help us out. Yeah, water has memory. Yes, it does. Water has memory. That's what that libations thing is. Water has memory, and when you tap in to those that spiritual water, it works out for you, good or bad. Family, there's a reason, and I talk about this many times, why Lake Lanier out there in Georgia, that lake keeps catching bodies. Because as we know, Oscarville, that's where that town was. That town, that lake was built on top of a black town. And let me be very clear. Do y'all know that there are hundreds of towns in this country that were flooded, that were black areas that were flooded by water, that were deliberately flooded all over the country? I'm talking about all the way up in Oregon, there were black towns that were flooded. All through Alabama, Mississippi, all over the place, there were black towns that were flooded. The white supremacists deliberately flooded these towns, and we don't even talk about it. And Lake Lanier gets its revenge almost every other week. I show all types of respect to Lake Lanier. I'm not going to go out there BSing around. I show respect to Lake Lanier. You got to respect them ancestors. And this is why a lot of black folks lived in these swamp areas and formed their own communities, and they understood how they had to respect the ancestors, and that gave them the strength to persevere and survive. This is why, family, we got the maroon flag. This is why we've been promoting this, the maroon flag. This is the new Foundation of Black American Nation maroon flag, because we are showing honor and respect to our maroon family who was out here fighting in this country for freedom, and they were creating safe havens for people to come to. That's the story, and we're doing a documentary about that. That's the story that has been hidden from us, the black maroon communities. And I want y'all to understand, look at the flag here. We have the fire, which is the torches they were using, not only for light to survive and to look at and see where they were going, but also they were burning down stuff. Also, the two axes, not only for defense, they were using those axes to defend themselves. They were also using those axes to build. We have to understand. Our families understood the importance of defense and building, because when they defended themselves and they lived in independent maroon colonies, they had to build. So they had to go out here, use those same weapons to chop down trees, to clear the brush, to create gardens. So the brothers and sisters were building real communities, log cabins out here in swamp areas all over the southern areas. And that's where the 5 stars come from. There were dozens and dozens and dozens of maroon colonies all through the South, but there were 5 primary areas, and that's what the stars represent. The 1 star represents the Dismal Swamp in the North Carolina area and Virginia area. Okay? Virginia, North Carolina. That other flag, the other star, represents South Carolina. There was another swamp area, those lowlands in South Carolina, the brothers and sisters were repping and putting in work. The next one represents Florida. Florida, all of Florida was a maroon colony, basically. Those brothers turned Florida into a maroon colony. The next one, ladies and gentlemen, is Mississippi. Over there in the swamp areas of Mississippi, that was another primary swamp area that was a maroon colony. And the last one, the 5th star, that is Louisiana. They had a lot of maroon colonies in Louisiana that's never talked about. And if they talk about it, they have to try to take us out of history. But I want y'all to know there were so many maroon colonies out there in Louisiana, and these brothers and sisters were putting in work. They were living in these maroon swamps, and they would leave and go, they go take somebody's cattle. They were bodying the white supremacists. They were catching bodies left and right in Louisiana, man. When you go to Louisiana and you see all of these bayou houses and all that, understand these used to be maroon colonies. A lot of these white folks live in these bayous now, but be clear, during antebellum slavery, all of those swamp houses that you see in Louisiana, these were maroon homes. These were part of maroon colonies that black folks established out there. These were part of maroon colonies. There was one maroon colony that they kind of give credit to Filipinos now. There's a place called St. Malo, We're my Louisiana people. There's a maroon village called St. Malo, and they give credit to the Filipinos. They say it was the first Filipino colony, and they try to make it seem like this is Asian Americans. This was a colony of Asian Americans, and they did this. Look, St. Malo was a black maroon colony, and the Filipinos, they escaped from a Spanish ship, and they moved there later on, but it started as a maroon colony for black folks. In fact, let me show y'all the marker there. And they kind of give a very quick mention of the Maroons, but they want to give the props to the Filipinos. No, they did not establish this. The Filipinos basically were brought in there by the black Maroons for safety, and they want to try to give props to the Filipinos. No. Let me show y'all something right here. This is a marker for St. Malo. St. Malo was the first permanent Filipino settlement in the United States in the first half of the 19th century. Filipino sailors established a village on the southern shore of Lake Borgne on a site previously settled by Native Americans and Maroons. So they throw the Maroon thing in there. They don't tell you who the Maroons are, by the way. That means black folks. And even the Native Americans were the black Native Americans, okay? The Native Americans were the black ones because the red Native Americans didn't have a reason to live in the swamp. They could just go live on a reservation or whatever. Why would a Native American who was a red Native American, why would they live in the swamp? The only reason they would live in the swamp is if they were trying to escape slavery. That's the only reason they would live in the swamp. That's why black folks were living in the swamp, so they could escape slavery, so they wouldn't be put into slavery. And by the way, St. Malo, that's the name of a black maroon. St. Malo was a person. St. Malo was a black maroon. They killed him, I want to say in the 1790s or the 1780s, but they ended up killing him. But he was a black maroon. It's named after a black maroon. You understand? So we got to put these things in context. When they say certain things, no, let's put it all in context. Let's put all this stuff in context when we talk about history. So we got to show honor and respect to the foundation of black Americans who are putting in all of this work out here. We got to show honor and respect to them. And all over the country, there's so many phenomenal foundation of black Americans that we don't have to skip over them. We don't have to skip over them at all. We can still give props and praises to brothers and sisters in Africa. That's fine, but I'm not going to skip over so many phenomenal foundation of black Americans who put in so much work here and who's waiting for us to give them props and praises. I'm telling you, man, when we start honoring our forefathers and ancestors, we get strength from that. This is why, family, there's a reason why the white supremacists, they love propping up their white forefathers. There's a reason why, because they want that white supremacist energy. There's a reason why they love talking about Thomas Jefferson. That's why they put them on money, so that they're always circulating, okay? They understand spirit. What is spirit? Spirit is currency. What is money? Money is currency. They understand the spirit. They understand the energy. Money is a currency that circulates, so they put their spiritual ancestors on money so they can circulate them around and keep that energy going. Andrew Jackson and all of these people, these hardcore white supremacists. That's all they are. But they gain their strength from these people because they lift them up every day and they get that white supremacist strength. We have to understand. And then they have us ignoring our riders. See, that's why we have to acknowledge our riders. We have to acknowledge the black folks who was kicking ass. That's why they want us black folks to sit up here acknowledging John Lewis, Clarence Thomas, and this new mammy that they got. They want us to, as black folks, to hold these mammies and Sambos up as our heroes. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. We're going to call on our ancestors. We're going to give them the energy that they need to come back and assist us, ladies and gentlemen. And that's called being on code, and they can't do a damn thing about us being on code, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, that's been today's episode of Tariq Radio. We had a great conversation tonight. Glad to have everybody tuning in. And by the way, People are already asking, when are we going to have some flags ready? We'll have them. We'll put them together. We'll have flags and bumper stickers and all that stuff because people, they're already asking. So we'll have all that at officialfba.com. Officialfba.com. That's the maroon flag right there, the Foundation of Black American Maroon flag. We got to pay homage and give honor to those black maroons. These were some super riders, man, that they've been written out of history because, see, the thing is, when they talk about black people getting freedom, they talk about the North Star, which is the Underground Railroad going to the north. And they like to talk about the North Star like there was one place that black folks was running to the north, because that gives props to white abolitionists. The white abolitionists were helping out the black folks who were going north. But they don't talk about the other stars, the other 5 stars, the other 5 primary maroon colonies that were in the South. That's what we're giving honor to. It wasn't the damn North Star. They didn't have to run all the way to the North Star. They can just go right into them swamps and they would live in there for generations. See, this is what we have to understand. We have to understand